short film showing you the differences between the two ways that you can put text onto your drawing. Now, normally speaking, as a default, the text icon will be down the left hand side here, but as I've got rid of my icons left or right, I'll have to go up to the top here where there's no tools. I'm going to right click and all the tools come up and they're all in alphabetical order, so I just click on text, which is there, and it pops out. Okie dokie. So we have text, first one, just a big A for text. Click onto that, take the cursor into your drawing area, you've got crosshairs, left click, and you've got that flashing line. Okay, and so then you can just type your text in. So you can just type in text. Clearly, if it's not big enough, then obviously when you're in the text tool, you can right click, go to properties, and come on, hurry up. You can change the size. So text here is default to 6.35, so I can either click on drop down menu here, I can do that, or I can simply type in anything I like in there and say OK. Right, so that changed it. So the next one should be the same size, I hope. Now next time I go to text, yep, sure is. Also, clearly you saw when I was in there, excuse me, you can change it. It defaults to Times New Roman, which is a serif font, which you probably don't want. Most people choose Arial, which is up the top here somewhere. There it is, Arial. Regular style, obviously colours, standard, text, have a box around it, backwards, underline, all that old nonsense. So there it is, that's nice and straightforward. Okay. Now, you can use a return in this text. So if I just start again here and write something else, so I'll say new text new text example, and I can use a return. So I can hit return and say to show stuff, and I can hit return again. Now when I've finished, I can right click, and you can see here I can finish, I can drag its height, or I can drag its angle. So if I drag its height, click onto it, look, I can do this sort of business. So I can change the size of it visually. I can drag the angle, so I can do that sort of business. But if you actually want it vertical or horizontal, put your finger on shift, that regulates it, left click your button, and you're OK again. Essentially when you're finished, you say you're finished. You've got to tell it when you're finished. And then you can go and pick up any other tool you want and draw with that. Now, when you select it, you've got it as a box here. So I'm not in the text mode. I mean, if I wanted to edit it, I'd have to get back into the text mode, and you can see that A has appeared. So if I want to get into there, I click into the box, the cursor's on at the beginning of it. But if I use these arrow keys, I can go down and along. So new text example to show stuff. I'll just put a bit of nonsense in, and again, and then I can right click and do finish. So that's the way I would edit the text. But if you just want to move it about or something, obviously it's in a box, so go over to the cursor, the usual way you move anything about. You can change the size of it by eye by going on these things on the corner. It'll do that, and it'll do this. But you can see when that's changing, what it's doing, it's keeping the integrity of the font. You know, the rules of the font, the height, the width, all that sort of business. If you want to break that up, you can explode it. So you can go to modify, explode. Now you can do all sorts of things with it. Okay, so because it's lost its integrity the font integrity. But it's still all together, it's still one big box. Now, if you explode it a second time, what happens now is that these are individual letters, and each individual letter you can do what you like with. So if I wanted to move this one over here, I can, or this one over there, keep it in line maybe, I can do that sort of thing. So I can actually move them, and each one is a shape on its own. And thirdly, if I take this shape here, this N shape, if I explode this a third time, then something else happens. It actually becomes two things. It becomes the solid shape, but also the outline as well. So that's the properties, that's all the things you can do with the text, just straightforward text. When I click in this text, if I move the box around, this sort of thing happens. Now let me show you, let's do another thing with this text. So another bit, return of text. Okay, I'll finish that, right click, finish. Hit the space bar. If I make this box bigger, nothing happens. Now, you'll find it slightly different if you use the multi-text. On multi-text, you get this box appears. Now again, if you put your finger on shift, it'll regulate it horizontal or vertical. It doesn't really matter too much how big this is, because you can change the size of this box afterwards. So again, left click, we're there. Now with multi-text, this other box appears at the top or somewhere on your screen. So again, it defaults to Times New Roman, we'll leave it at that for now. Again, it defaults to 6.3. So I can change that. I'll change that to 25. Now, just typing in 25 is not good enough. You've got to type in 25 and then hit return. You've got to say, yep, that's it. Otherwise, it won't be 25. So, for example, comma, another example. And much more. Now, the difference here is that when we make this box bigger, so not on here, up onto this one across the top here, when I make this box bigger, you can see the writing fits into the box. Okay, so it's quite different the way you get a layout from the ordinary just the letters text. The letters text, they'll move around but they'll stay where they are. In the multi-text, they'll fit them in the box, you know, the most sensible way, put it that way. Okay, in terms of finishing, again, you've got the finish flag, and I think in terms of editing, again, you've got the thing down here, little icon, text edit, click onto there, and you can click in again. Oops, sorry, no, not that one. You can edit it in much the same way, edit text. Okay, so there you've got this A again, for example. So if I just click into there, this time you can actually click in anywhere you like, and I can do what I like with that. So they're the main two ways of doing text. Behave slightly differently, depends what you want. There is one other way of doing text in the professional versions, not in the deluxe, but in the professionals, under add-ons, special tools, we're under inserts here. Oops, sorry, my inserts. You've got text around a curve, which does exactly what it says. You draw a circle, say, you go to add-ons, special tools, insert, text around a curve, click onto the curve you want to put the text around, left click, it'll change to a pink, this dialog box comes up. In the top it says string, and I'll say me, Paul Tracy, that's me. Where it's going to go in the middle, the height of the text, the thickness of the text. Thickness of the text doesn't seem to make much difference to me, but anyway, the offset, which is obviously how close to the circle it is, so I'll say 6. The type of text, standard, and again it defaults to Times New Roman. Let's do something else. I would choose Arial again, and flip text, so whether it goes at the top or the bottom. This is one you just have to muck about with if you like. So then you go OK, there we go, and it got it the wrong way around. You know, if it's undo, I can undo it, so now I know which way around I want it, so I can go back to add-ons and just go through that again. You know, it's like a lot of these tools, once you've done it once, you know which way it's supposed to be. This time I'll just do me, flip the text, OK, there we go. Oh, it's turned the text the wrong way around. It can work out okay. It can be okay, but this, you know, text around a curve is really an illustrator's tool. You'll find it in things like Illustrator, and years ago when I used to use freehand. In here, it's a sort of little bit of a square plug in a round hole. It can work as long as the curve is not too tight. It works on curves as well as arcs. We've got here on a circle. It works on a curve just fine. As long as the curve is not too acute, as long as the curve is reasonably smooth, it'll be okay. But you know, it depends if you're just putting numbers in or just the odd word here and there. You're probably better off just making some text and putting it in place. But this is worth looking at rather, and it might suit you. So I think that's about it. Certainly I've run out of things, I know.